I have a superhero named Lumen, and while I did make 2 comics for him, there were some similarities with other comics. I'm going to try to take my original 24-page comic and remake it by upgrading the plot, stabilizing the art, and finally have a proud copy of Lumen in my hands. At this point, you might be wondering, why even do this? Why not just stick to my other series? 'Cause I feel like it. So let's get to work. If you enjoy watching me make comics and want to learn how to make your own, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next video. So my approach to this remake of Lumen is pretty simple. Use the old story's good parts, make notes of what could be improved, and create the new story with all that in mind. On the very first page, we see a disastrous scene. Lumen staring at a large black hole destroying the city. We flash back to 5 years ago. There we meet Arlo Vance, volunteering to help with a rare cosmic phenomenon, a test involving a material called luminal flux. The containment breaks, knocks him unconscious, and when he wakes up, he has powers. His friend Marcus conveniently has a suit for him to wear. When he goes out to test his powers, he beats up a bad guy and then fades again, with fragments of his future flashing past him. We then cut to see Marcus say he's a failure to a mysterious person. That's pretty much it. Starting with Arlo, I think we need to give him a better origin, something tragic and sad that gives him his powers. And the suit just being made doesn't really make sense, so I might cut that until the next issue. Once Arlo is in the Lumen suit, I don't think we get that epic first use of powers you see. Not to mention, but the whole issue is pretty anticlimactic. So, now I've got a good idea for the overall plot and things I'd like to add to this new comic. How long should it be? I really want to make it a full-size graphic novel, but I want these issues to be things I can make in a month or 2, so that I can make these videos closer together. So I counted the pages on comics and manga and saw that most had around 20 to 22. So with a 22-page count in mind, I opened a new document for the script. I'll use bulletin points to summarize each page. The first few pages should be dedicated to setting the scene for his backstory. Since now that we know that there will be a universal event that causes people's powers, I thought it would be a good idea to tie his story to that. Maybe his parents were scientists involved in that looting event. This event could lead to the tragic deaths and maybe even cause Arlo to be a reluctant hero. That would add a dramatic plot to the story. Now instead of him just hearing about their death, he could witness it firsthand. Yeah, I might be abusing Arlo a lot in this first issue. This way, we get to see what he does when he's put in a position to be a hero, even though he hates it more than anything. The next step is to thumbnail these pages. So I opened a new canvas in Procreate and made 22 little rectangles to represent pages and started sketching ideas for the layout and where everything would be. This is not really an important stage, and I've made comics before without this, but working in these small rectangles gives you a lot more freedom to map out your story. Nobody's looking at these, so you can go back very quickly and change anything that you messed up. My plan is to use these thumbnails as my first sketch layer. Once I was done with the thumbnails, all I had to do was the final art. I wanted to make sure the art style stayed consistent because for comics, you have to draw your characters over and over again and make sure they're still recognizable. I designed these characters off screen, but if you guys like this video, I'll make a separate video showing the design process, so stay tuned. With characters like Arlo, I just simplified his design in this comic to make drawing him a lot easier. Sometimes while working on this project, I got stuck on how engaging the story was or imposter syndrome with my art. Was this entire project just some cheap knockoff? Would people even want to read my comic? Maybe I should have just stuck to my other comics. Now, finally the cover. The biggest problem in the original comic was the cover. If you know who Xanderflix is, you might see why. He was the biggest inspiration for me for even starting my own comic universe. But now that I'm selling them myself, I have to keep it original. Once you're done with this video, you should definitely check out Xanderflix's video on his hero Bullet Boy. Now, back to the cover. Usually, they feature the main character in a scene that hints at what the story is about. I decided to thumbnail some ideas for what would look good, and I wound up choosing this one. And with that, the comic is done. Okay, so here's the package, and let's open it up. And reveal in 3, 2, 1. This turned out way better than I thought it would. The finish, I chose matte and it looks great. I see it in the light. The quality is sharp, crisp. All the pages look good. And the text, you can read it really easy.